97.3. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. When we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
97.3 City FM. This is Eyewitness News live from our studios at number 11. Dr. Martin Loop here in Adabraka in Accra. With me, Ni Lati. Tonight, I'm here with
Akusia Ochre.
And coming up in the next 90 minutes, vigorous campaigning in Kumawu as crucial by-election on Tuesday nears. Both the NPP and NDC are on the grounds appealing to constituents ahead of the polls. The preparations for that one is here tonight on Eyewitness News. Still on Eyewitness News, GPRT suspends reduction in transport fares for further stakeholders consultation. Also here tonight on Eyewitness News, stiff opposition meet PRC's upward adjustment of electricity and water tariffs effective June 1, 2023. We tell you the concerns of industry players. Stay with 97.3 City FM for more on these and other stories on Eyewitness News later in business.
Economists optimistic revision of Bank of Ghana Act will bring stability to the country's fiscal management.
That will be in the next 50 minutes with Netele Nete Ajaho of the City Business Desk for the top stories in the world of business. Eyewitness News is live across the country on our affiliates. In the Western region, we are live on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady and Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady. In the Bono region, this is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyane, Hammers Radio 106.5 FM in Goso in the Ahafu region. In the Ashanti region, this is Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. Volta region, we are live on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajuhu. Northern region, this is Radio Bimbala 91.9 FM. Tanga 93.7 FM in Bolga in the Upper East region. Tunson 97.3 FM in Wa and Drapa 96.1 FM also in the Upper West region. The show is also live on Facebook on City 97.3 FM and also on YouTube on CityTube. Eyewitness News is interactive. Tell us what you make of this story. Share your views and thoughts via WhatsApp on 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. My name is Ni Lati here tonight with Akusia Ochre. This evening, our first story has to do with that a crucial by-election in Kumawu in the Ashanti region on Tuesday. There is vigorous campaigning by both the NPP and the NDC ahead of that particular election. Party stalwarts as well as leadership of the various parties have actually stormed the constituency ostensibly to appeal to residents ahead of the polls in order for them to get a nod following the unfortunate demise of the member of parliament for the area, Philip Baswa. Let me now bring in our bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Oponmafu. He has been on this beat for us. He joins us via telephone. Well, Edward, and what can you tell us? What have you gathered ahead of the polls as party leadership of the various political parties in that election, appeal to residents?
And so, with this by-election, it has generated a lot of interest. Many people from the various political parties who are showing a lot of interest in it. If you recall, the member of parliament for the area, Mr. Philip Baswa, he died on 27th of March, and following that, the seat was declared vacant by the Speaker of Parliament, and the Electoral Commission then started making arrangements, and the 23rd of May has been set aside for that crucial by-election. And so there are a lot of people, particularly MPP and the NDC people, who are showing a lot of interest in this election. Last time I spoke to the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NDC, Augustus Sarakwesi, News on this, and he was telling me that they are bent on just taking that bold decision of winning it. And if you know the election dynamics in the Ashanti region, you know that the Kumawu seat is predominantly an NDC and an NPP seat. And so the NDC do not get close to it when we're looking at who wins it. But the Ashanti Regional Chairman is insisting that they are going to do whatever they have to do to win that seat. And on the NDP side, you recall that not long ago they had the primaries. A lot of people were showing interest in it, and NSC Awanim emerged as the candidate for the party after their primaries. And so there's a lot of interest. And if you look at this election too, you know that the former president, John Mahama, during his tour of the Ashanti region, he particularly went to the area to campaign for the NDC there, where he was highlighting a number of things that they have done as the NDC that they've done to help that constituency. And he believes that although the historical trends, they have been voting for the NPP, he feels that this is the right time. And he was citing the current economic situation and all that, and he indicating that with the Kumawu hospital, the construction, and the NDC played a crucial role in its construction, although it has not been commissioned for use yet. But it feels that they have done a lot to really cause that kind of upset in the area. And, you know, the NPP too have been to the area with a 1 week observation for the Member of Parliament. For a lot of NPP people who went to the area, or the Vice President has been there. A lot of party bigwigs have actually been there as well. They have also been canvassing for votes. And so it's a crucial one for all the sides. And there's one interesting twist to this. Shortly after the MP died, the road minister and his entourage went to the area and then assured that we're going to start road construction works. And just within a short period, they started road construction. And interestingly, if you go to the area after 8 p.m., 9 p.m., you still see construction workers on the ground who are asphalting the road. And in fact, I have been there and I've seen them at night just working, going on with the activities. And so there's this whole buzz within the area. People are saying that, well, it is just a way, it is a strategy that a MPP government is adopting. This is the time that people have been crying for their roads to be constructed. for that very long time, it has not been done. And so Kumawu and the other adjoining communities are now having that kind of road construction because the Member of Parliament has died, and they feel it's also a way of getting that kind of political points within this period. And so that's what many people have been saying, even those in the area. I remember I was just some few days ago, I passed through the area in the middle of the night. That's the night I saw construction workers doing that. I interacted with some of the residents, and they feel that it is because of the election. They also have doubts that if they are not able to finish the construction early, by the time that they're done with the elections, they feel that the road construction could be abandoned. So you're calling on authorities to ensure that is done no matter what. But obviously, the road minister has come out to say that it has no connection. That's according to him, is that it has no connection with the by-election, and it's something that they had agreed on. And even the late Member of Parliament played a crucial role in all those arrangements. But obviously, a lot of people have their doubts. Even the former president, when he went to the area, he also felt that the people have been neglected for far too long, and it's just because the Member of Parliament has died and they're trying to win vote. That's what it is. So he feels it's no coincidental kind of thing. And so that's it. But needed one other thing. In the 2020 elections, where Philip Aswa won, with all the candidates in it, there was an independent candidate in the race who gave the MP that kind of tough race. The independent candidate had 39.9%. So 39.9% in the Central region for an independent candidate is a big deal for all election watchers. And this same person is in the race now. He is Kwekudia. And he is also saying that based on how he was able to make that race, the 2020 race, an interesting one, and how people were able to come on his side, he feels that now that the pastor is not around, you'll be able to get more than 50%. And so that's it. But another interesting angle to it is that there's another independent candidate who shares the same name, Kwakudia. So in the race, we have the NPP's candidate, who is NS Yawanim, the NDC's candidate, who is Kwesi Amankwa. And there are two people with the same name, Kwakudia. And so that's it. But for the campaigning, it has been massive for all parties. They feel that they will have to do everything to win, and they feel that this is the right time for any of them to win.
The campaign in UC has been massive, but let's talk about the reception of residents. I'm asking because of the last-minute construction works that we've spoken about. What's their general feeling like towards the political parties, especially the NPP, and when it came to the constituency?
And so when you look at the NPP, for instance, you have some of the people saying that, well, they are NPP through and through. And so if the party, even if it's because of the by-election, they are facing the road for them, the road will still be there even after the by-election. And so what they are interested in is for the road to be constructed for them. But there are others too who have been saying that, well, it's just some kind of deception. And so why should a Member of Parliament die? And the fact that you're coming back to us to really beg us for our votes, you feel you're doing something for us, something we have been begging you for a very long time. And so the people are divided. But generally, with those who are NPP people who just will vote for the NPP irrespective of whatever is going to happen, they are saying that, well, they feel even if that's the case, that shouldn't even prevent them from changing their voting pattern. And so it's still is going to be done, and then that's it. So they'll still vote their way. But the interesting angle to it is that the NDC is much more confident now. They feel that based on the current economic issues and the fact that even those kind of developments in the area delayed and whether it will say that it coincided with the by-election or it has been intentionally done just to boost the NDP's chances. They feel that, well, some of the constituents will have that kind of edge to change their voting patterns now. But it is opening the whole race up the independent candidate is so confident that this is also his time to win the seat. And so that's the fault by the people. They are always making this point that.
All right, Edward, hold on for me. Let's hear from the Roads Minister, Kwesi Amoako-Attah, when he actually denied that the construction was to, sway constituents or voters in the Kumawu constituency.
People of Fijase, people of Asokore, part of Kumawu constituency, are they going to vote? No. But look at massive work going on, because the entire road project, had been procured for the contractor, and the people of this area, from Drabin to Kumawu, will be living witnesses of what is going to happen even after the by-election of 23rd. They will see whether the contractor is going to stop work or not. And it will put to shame all those who are spreading the false information.
Well, so that's Roads Minister Kwesi Amoako-Attah actually downplaying assertions that the recent infrastructural development in the Kumawu constituency was actually to influence voters ahead of the by-election in the constituency, for which reason we are having this conversation. But Eddie, we know one NPP candidate, one NDC candidate, and two independent candidates. Well, what's the mood in the area? We know we've spoken about the massive, campaigning by the two main political parties in that election.
So for now, a lot of these political parties, the campaign machinery, who have actually trooped to Kumawu just to ensure that they do that kind of door-to-door campaigning. And so within this period to Tuesday, some of the political parties have actually taken it that, well, that is a do or die affair for them. They have to find ways of convincing people to toe their direction. And it will interest you to know that if you come to Kumawu and you check various hotels and guest houses, as we speak, it will be difficult to even book a place, because these political party people have actually decided to come and stay around for some time and then ensure that they intensify their campaign activities. And that's what is happening. So even other areas, as aside from other areas around Fijase, Japan, even some will go to Insuta. All these places, because the Kumawu area, some of these political party people have paid for the hotels there. It will even be difficult to get hotels in other places. And so these people are just massing up in their numbers, trying to find any means at all just to ensure that they campaign to a lot of people to vote for their candidates.
All right, let's hear from former President John Dramani Mahama. He's also been speaking when he came to the constituency to, speak to voters there. He's been speaking in Kumawu.
The NDC would not be biased in the Kumawu by-election. We are appealing to the Imam and Zongo leaders to pray for the NDC and myself to win the next elections, because we can all attest to the fact that the NDC government offers much comfort and development to Ghanaians. A careful look at Kumawu reveals that all good things in Kumawu have been the handiwork of the NDC. We are appealing to you to vote for our parliamentary candidate, Kwesi Amankwa, Tom C.
That's former President John Dramani Mahama speaking to residents of Kumawu in the Ashanti region as far as the by-election in that constituency is concerned. Earlier was my colleague here in the City Newsroom, actually, the bureau chief for the Middle Belt for City News, Edward Oponma, for giving us a wrap of happenings in that particular constituency. Let me now bring in the director of communication for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba. He joins us on telephone because of this particular election. Mr. Ihaba, good evening to you and thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News. I'm sure the party is fully prepared for the by-election on Tuesday.
Yes, please. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to step out from where I am so I can take this call.
Hello, Mr. Ihaba.
Yes, please. I can hear you. Just give me 1 quick second. I'm moving a bit from the noise so I can hear you.
All right, we'll try and reconnect with you. So when you are ready, we will have that conversation. We are trying to speak with Richard Ahangwa, Director of Communications for the NPP, as far as the by-election in the Kumawu constituency is concerned. We know that the party is preparing to retain the seat following the demise of the Member of Parliament for the area, Philip Baswa. Well, the NDC is also trying very hard to ensure that it wins that particular race. In fact, 2 independent candidates, one of them, as we all know, actually contested the former Member of Parliament for the area, gathering about 40% of the valid votes cast in the 2020 election. He is trying to make a comeback in that particular election. We've spoken to our bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafu, who says that all is well and good in the constituency. Both parties are campaigning vigorously to ensure that they get the buy-in of voters. Well, Director of Communications for the NPP, Richard Ahangwa, joins us back on the line again. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ahangwa. I was asking about the general preparations of the party ahead of the by-election.
Well, thank you very much for the forbearance. Yes, the party will be preparing for this election, I think, for some weeks now. We had our internal primaries, and eventually we have candidates for the election on Tuesday in the person of NSC Awenim. And we've since been campaigning very vigorously. Personally, I've been here the past 2 weeks, and it looks to me very clearly that we're all set. Our campaign is not relenting. Kumawu is our stronghold. But we're leaving no stone unturned. There was a little bit of some internal tension which led in 2020 to an independent candidate getting into the race. And because he was a strong party person and the kind of tension in the party in Kumawu at the time resulted in him doing very well in the general election. He got almost about 11,000 votes. And our MP, Honorable Baswa, who we lost very recently, got about 14,000 total votes, about 51% of the total vote cast. So we are intentionally mobilizing to ensure that we breach the gap. And to tell you the truth, following the election of NSC Awenim, all the aspirants rallied around him and will be campaigning with them since the end of the internal elections. And I can tell you here today, with all certainty, that if the vote is cast tomorrow, which would be on Tuesday, the MPP will get north of 90% of the total vote cast, and I can assure you that.
I see, but this 90% that you are talking about, is the party really not concerned about some of the issues, your own constituent, which you say is your stronghold, have raised because of, the last-minute construction works in the constituency, which many have said that was ostensibly to influence, voters?
Not at all, not at all. It has that appearance, and I think that a lot of people have made that point. Just about 30 minutes ago, I was at the Kumawu Mahine's palace with the Alan Tramante's team to greet the Omahine. And the Omahine himself confirmed that these preparations have been long done. And actually on a campaign platform, our MP who we lost actually stood on a campaign platform on a public program to actually announce to the citizens of Kumawu that these processes have been put in place and the road construction work would start in earnest. Everything was set to have started in March, but it was a question of contractor selection and other related issue. Eventually, the people selected Joshua. And so it was a question of timing, and the unfortunate incident of our brother, Honorable Basua, happened just before this whole thing started. So I can tell you with certainty, and the people themselves understand. And like I just told you, just literally about an hour ago, I was in the Omahi's palace with Mr. Kojala and Chamate's team to greet the paramount chief. The paramount chief confirmed that he is aware of all the processes. And like I said to you, this was announced in public for people to know. Even before the MP died, he himself announced this to the people of Kumawu. So it's a very sad coincidence, one can say, but it has nothing to do with the by-election, all the construction work going on. It is actually supposed to have happened, even if our brother, fortunately, if he didn't pass, these construction works would have gone on. And I think that the people of Kumawu understand that, and they embrace that position, and they are willing, and on Tuesday, to be able to validate that position with their votes for all to see.
I see. But can you also speak to us about the funeral? Is it actually happening tomorrow about your MPP as we wrap up?
Yes. So, like I said, the man here just confirmed to us that the funeral is happening tomorrow. You know, he's the chief mourner. And so all things being equal, our brother will be laid to rest tomorrow. And we'll wish that his soul will rest in peace tomorrow. And then we'll carry on with what activities we have to undertake to make sure that his legacy is firmly planted.
All right, very well. That's Richard Ahanga, Director of Communications for the NPP. Let's go to the camp of the NDC. Joseph Yamin is its national organizer. Mr. Yamin, good evening. Thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News. Well, many say that if you look at the election trends, this particular by-election is going to be a walk in the park for the NPP. Why move your party members there to, speak to voters in order to get their buy-in?
Well, good evening, my brother. I don't know the people you are speaking to that is giving you that impression that is going to be a walk in the park for the MPP. Listening to Richard, I am surprised as to the kind of confidence he has to talk about 90% of the votes going to the MPP. Clearly, if you have a politician that will give such a figure to an abysmal performance of his government, then it tells you that the person has done little or no assessment of what really is on the ground.
I see. How so? Because if you look at the election trends, as I said, since 92, it has been, the seat of the NPP throughout. And so that's where their optimism is coming.
But never have they gotten the 70% of the votes. And this is a time that there are so many issues within the camp of the MPP. And Richard will be confident that they will secure 90% of the votes. Well, he talked about coincidence in respect to the road construction. I don't know where the coincidence come in here. Clearly, it is a rushed-in project. You listen to him and he makes the assertion that the people selected Joshua. People don't select contractors. It's a process through the Ministry of Roads. So how come the people of Kumawu were the ones that selected who should be the contractor on the road? If you get to find out, it will not be surprising to say that even the official signing of the contract has not been done. Joshua was moved onto the road immediately after the demise of the MP. And there's a sign that indicates that the MPP really have some fears. And so if Richard will come on radio and will want to paint a different picture, well, if your mother is dead and you say it's sleeping in the evening when they are sharing food, that's where you get to find out whether you've said the truth or not. Now, the people are not so much interested in the road construction. there's one thing that the people and through the chief of Kumawu have always insisted, and that is the 120-bed hospital that was started by the NDC administration and left to rot by the MPP administration. That is one project that the people are so much interested in. Not the rushing in to do asphalt overlays within the Kumawu township, where indeed they have left the major road construction untouched. And so we are very sure that this time around the Kumawu people will decide based on issues, decide on competence, which government is the best to lead the people of Kumawu to see development. Then when you come in again from the history of the division within the MPP, today is Alan and Baumia conflict in Kumawu. The candidate who is the candidate now came on the ticket of Alan Chairman and won as against Baumia's ticket of the lady. Now he crosses carpet to join the Baumia camp, and the people in Kumawu who believes in Alan Chairman leading the MPP are saying that they are going to punish the MPP candidate for betraying Alan Chairman. It's also another issue that is going on. That is why you see the MPP chairman on his knees pleading to the people. A constituency that you are winning 90%, you go on your knees and plead to the people. So clearly, Richard and his people don't understand what is happening in Kumawu, and probably want to paint a picture out there that seems to be so gloomy. But the point is that we, the NDC, have a message. We have a candidate that is well accepted by the people. We have a message. We have moved in there. We want to send a signal. We want to make a statement that will go as far as giving direction to what 2024 will be.
I see. And are the constituents actually buying in your message? I'm asking because you actually make a point that the construction works by the NPP is actually misplaced, because you think that constituents are actually not interested in that particular project.
No, it's not about they not being interested. It's just that they realize that clearly it's because of the by-election that they have come to that. But like I said, the Kumawu town roads, it's not the only project that the people are expecting. The major one, which Nanaro Danko Akupo and the MPP have constantly lied to the people of Kumawu in front of the chief of Kumawu, is the hospital that was started by John Dramani Mahama. And as we speak it now, it's being left to the mercy of the bush. The people really know very well that Nanado and his people are not committed in any way. Today, because of by-election, they've gone to weed around the hospital project that has been left to the mercy of the bush. And the people are laughing at them. That's why you see them sharing rice, sharing materials and other stuff just to buy their food. They are not interested in that. We as a party, like I said earlier, want to make a statement. And that statement is one that will drive us into 2024. We know very well that paying much attention to what is happening in Kumawu, sending our candidates around. Today, if your reporters were in Kumawu, they will tell you what Kumawu was just a few minutes ago. That the whole Kumawu came to a standstill just because of the incoming president of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama's entry into Kumawu. The rousing welcome, the standstill of activities in Kumawu. It's a clear sign. That is why the MPP will go on their knees and be begging the people. Let Tuesday come, and let's see if a 90% vote will come for the MPP, as being claimed by Richard.
I see. Let's leave it here. Thank you so much. That's Joseph Yamin. I wish you well, national organizer of the NDC, telling us about the NDC's message ahead of the by-election in the Kumawu constituency in the Ashanti region. But this is still Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM, coming to you live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka here in Accra. My name is Ni Lati. Tonight I'm here with Akusia Ochre. News just coming in. That first 600 million US dollars tranche of Ghana's $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund has officially hit the account of the Bank of Ghana. If you do stay with us, we have more on this development for you on Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
City TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV. City TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. City TV, it's your world.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies DA improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
97.3 City FM. This is still Eyewitness News, live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop, here in Adabraka in Accra. In July 2022, Ghana wrote to the International Monetary Fund asking for a balance of payment support. In December the same year, we actually reached a staff level agreement. Between then and now, the government has been speaking to, the Paris Club and other bilateral creditors, asking for financial assurances. Earlier this month, we actually achieved those financial assurances, for which reason the International Monetary Fund approved our $3 billion bailout from their end. Today, we are learning that the government has actually received the first tranche of $600 million from the International Monetary Fund. Let's speak to government spokesperson and also Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. He joins us on telephone here tonight on Eyewitness News. Mr. Nkrumah, thank you so much for joining us on Eyewitness News. So as we speak, the account of the Bank of Ghana has been credited, is it?
Yes, that's the confirmation I have.
I see. So obviously, we know that this particular first tranche will be used for a number of activities, but per the information you have from the Bank of Ghana, at what time was the account credited? What exactly can you speak to us on this first tranche that has arrived?
I think, as we've mentioned, there are supposed to be 7 different disbursements. The first of the 600 million on the back of the conclusion of the approval by the board. And then for the remaining tranches, it will be based on the country's ability to meet the assessment criteria, which assessment criteria is spelled out in the program as has been signed off. There are about 50 structural reforms
that we have undertaken to do on various parts of our economic life to ensure that we build resilience moving forward. 9 of them will form part of the very first assessment, which is supposed to be concluded before the end of this year. And the meeting of those 9 is what will translate into further disbursement of the other outstanding amounts. And as we have said over and over again, it's not just about money, but it's about the reforms that need to take place to ensure that we build resilience in the Ghanaian economy. And all of us have to focus on doing our part to make it happen.
I see. But the question on the minds of many Ghanaians, they are actually willing to know what the government actually, in specific terms, what this first tranche is actually going to be used for. If you are able to share those details with us.
You recall from the 1st of July 2022, we mentioned that the government of Ghana had developed a program to reboot the Ghanaian economy after the 2 major external shocks hit us. And the IMF confirms it in the very first line of the document which announces the approval that these significant or large external shocks have exacerbated our already existent vulnerabilities. And those vulnerabilities include vulnerabilities to the energy sector, some of the kind of contracts we've signed in the energy sector in the years gone by, and therefore what it means for the government of Ghana to honor some obligations are quite profound. They, for example, constitute some of the first things that we need to attend to ensure that the lights are kept on. You would find that we also have external debt servicing obligations, some of which we have suspended because as the economy went on a downhill. Remember, 2017 to 2019, our economy was on an uphill. 2020 in particular, we came on a downhill. 2021 tried to recover. 2022 didn't go so well. So as the economy has, on the average, been on a downhill since 2020, the revenues that are supposed to come with it have also not necessarily been performing as we would desire. So part of this will also help us to reservice our external debt obligations, which were suspended because we were trying to clean up the challenges that we were having. So you find a bit of it going into dealing with outstanding energy sector challenges, debt servicing obligations as well. And then we had mentioned earlier that we needed generally some balance of payment support. So part of it will also show up the currency to help service our balance of payment needs at the central bank.
But Mr. Oponkuma, are we also going to see the resumption of some construction works that actually stalled because of, our deal with the International Monetary Fund?
So the stall in some externally funded construction projects was not necessarily because of our deal with the fund. It was because the government of Ghana announced a suspension of the servicing of external debt obligations while we go through the process of reorganizing our debt obligations. That process is still ongoing. And once that process is concluded and then we resume honoring some of those obligations, we expect the projects that were suspended by the contractors because of that resume.
Interesting. But actually, people are of the view that there's going to be tougher times ahead because of how quick our approval was as a country. And I'm asking because quite a number of business, groups and also some stakeholders, as well as financial, watchers and observers say that because of how fast our deal was, it means that government actually went in for a poor deal. What's your reaction to some of these concerns?
You would recall that when government announced that it wants to finish the staff level agreement before the end of December, the suggestion was that it could not be done. Thankfully, we were able to do it. When government announced that we wanted to close prior actions by end of March, the view was that it couldn't be done. We were able to do it. When government then announced that we were hoping to conclude this deal around May, again, the view was that it can't happen. But I think every step of the way, we should give credit to the people of Ghana, first of all, for doing doing the very difficult things that needed to be done, the difficult things that other countries have not been able to do and for which reason have not concluded their negotiations. The people of Ghana and the government of Ghana have done that. Secondly, the people of Ghana and the government of Ghana have actually done a very diligent negotiation. Finance Minister leading the team has done a very good negotiation. And this program that is on the table, if you look at the details, if anybody reads the details, the program is described as a strong program that lays the foundation for a robust recovery. So it rather should draw our attention to the fact that we need to ensure that we successfully implement the program parameters and meet the program targets so that the benefits accrue, not a new attempt to now make a new argument that the way it has been done so quickly, then it must have been a poor negotiation or something like that. I think that would be a very unfortunate, untoward angle to take. The truth is that the government and the people of Ghana have done what they need to do in this very short period to get this support from the IMF for our bigger program. What now remains is our ability to execute it and to meet those parameters. And it will take the whole of country to do that. The government alone cannot meet all of those targets. Business community alone cannot meet all of those targets. All of us will have to work together. If we say revenue mobilization, government can set the targets and introduce the measures. But if all of us participate, that is when we will be able to collectively meet those targets. So I think our focus should be on how we can all execute so that the benefits accrue to the people of Ghana.
And even before the arrival of this particular tranche, the warnings have been that government should ensure that it's fiscally disciplined, especially because next year, 2024, is an election year. And also, the trend has been that government always overspends or go over budget. What's the plan for government as far as election 2024 is concerned and the whole, IMF deal?
So I'll say two things. The first thing is that if you don't meet the assessment criteria, you don't get further disbursement. So nobody can get away with not meeting the criteria. In other words, you have to be fiscally disciplined, meet the criteria so they can access their standing amount. But what is fiscal discipline? Fiscal discipline means, number one, meeting your revenue target. What that means is that what government has put out that all of us must contribute. If tax to GDP ratio is at 13% and the target is to move it to 14%, how do we do that? By all of us paying our property rates, paying our income tax, paying our import duties. If all of us comply, then we meet the target. Then fiscal discipline is happening. Fiscal discipline also means that you stay within your expenditure framework depending on the revenues that are coming. So if we have decided that we are going to spend X% of revenue coming in, what it means is that that revenue, like I mentioned earlier, has to come in. But if for some reason it doesn't come in, then it means that the expenditure will have to be commensurately reduced so that in the end, the thing in the middle, a deficit in the middle, which is what is cumulatively growing into a debt that we want to bring down, will not balloon. So the assurance will have to come from the government and the people of Ghana that all of us have to play our part to ensure that fiscal discipline is achieved so that in the end we can meet the program objectives. Mind you, as I've said over and over again, these program objectives fit into a broader program called the Post-Crisis Program for Economic Growth. We have to succeed at this program and succeed at the bigger EC peg so that the benefits accrue to the people of Ghana.
All right, thank you. I'm sure you'll be providing more details in the days ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
That's Information Minister and Government Spokesperson Kojo Opon Nkrumah confirming to us that Ghana has actually received an amount of $600 million from the International Monetary Fund, being the first tranche of the $3 billion bailout package. So that's actually the news coming in and been confirmed to us here on Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. Akusua has more stories.
Yes, let's still stay on money because government has paid a substantial part of the outstanding coupons of pensioner bondholders after pledging to do so at a meeting between the Finance Ministry and the pensioner bondholders last week. The pensioners had picketed at the premises of the ministry for 5 days, demanding the payment of the coupons. The Finance Ministry then convened a meeting where it promised to pay the outstanding 17 coupons while negotiations continues. City News checks today revealed that a promise has been redeemed with only 3 coupons outstanding. However, in an interview with City News, the convener of the pensioner bondholders, Dr. Edwanani Entry, says the meeting to discuss the principles are yet to be convened.
Payment is in progress. But if nobody has received, then once somebody has that coupon due, and nobody has received, then we are monitoring that. Now, I think 3 of them, we haven't seen any payment. Some, there are no indication that some have been paid, especially the last 2, which was due last Monday. The last due Monday one. Nobody has received any other. There's another one, so we are still monitoring, still having, and after the principal, we'll take a decision during the weekend because we told them, give them up to today to finalize discussion. They haven't even called for the meeting. So we'll meet and that's what to do.
Dr. Edwanani Entry is convener for the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. Now, family of a 14-year-old British national who died after he reportedly fell from the 4th floor of their dormitory at St. Peter's Mission School at Ugbojo in Accra suspect foul play. The incident, according to school authorities, occurred at the school's premises at about 12 midnight on Monday, May 15, and he was pronounced dead after he was transported to the University of Ghana Medical Center. The family asserts that the medical team at the University of Ghana's Medical Center reported the incident to the police, highlighting the absence of a police escort during the boys' transportation to the facility. The family has lodged a formal complaint at the British High Commission in Ghana and at the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service. According to a family member who spoke to City News, the school's account doesn't sit well with the family.
On Tuesday, we received a call in the afternoon around let's say 12, 11:30, 12 thereabout, from the school authorities. That was my grandmother, that's the grandmother of the boy, received a call that they needed to come to the Legon hospital because the boy wasn't feeling well. But the grandmother is old, let me put it this way. So she went with the boy's stepfather, called the boy's stepfather to leave the workplace, come, and then they will go and then see whatever is happening. Their intention was going to see him maybe hurt or maybe seriously sick, but not a dead body. So upon arrival, what the father was saying, when they got there, they said they brought the boy in around 12 o'clock on Monday a.m. 12 o'clock a.m. on Monday. They brought the boy in, and the boy was already dead upon arrival. And that the school authorities were insisting that the hospital insisted that they wanted a family member of the school of the boy. And then the school authorities told them that the only family member the boy has here is the grandmother, of which the grandmother is seriously sick on admission, which wasn't true. So they said, according to the hospital people, they said the Legon hospital, they said they were not buying into whatever was being told. The grandmother is sick or whatever. So they signaled the police strong room that this is what is happening. So they would need a backup from the police service for them to come in and then come and help in whatever is going on. So the police people came, and then they insisted that the school authority should call the grandmother. Even if the grandmother is sick, she should be able to tell them, either she has given them the autonomy to, as a school institution, to stand in and do whatever for the boy, or she's delegating somebody else. But when they called the following day, that is on the Tuesday, around 11 something, the grandma wasn't sick. She wasn't sick. She's healthy. She's okay. The only problem with her is her leg.
So you had a relative of a 14-year-old student of St. Peter's Mission School who allegedly fell from the 4th floor of their dormitory speaking to City News on condition of anonymity. Meanwhile, in an exclusive interview with City News, the proprietor of the St. Richard's School, Dr. Moses Edujimfi, stated that the boy had violated sleeping hours, causing disturbances by banging on doors on the 4th floor.
The 4th floor is occupied by our staffs. About 20 staffs are on that floor. So they heard a bang, at the doors on the 4th floor. But as if wherever the boy hits, the door doesn't open. So they hit another person's, one last door, and it opened. And the boy went in. According to them, when the boy came in, he narrated, he mentioned names of people whom he had been interacting with that night. Well, so what has happened to you? What has happened to you? Then they put him to sleep, that he should rest. So he was sleeping. And they have left him there whilst he was sleeping to go and find out why he has come with that being that hyper. So according to him, when they were investigating what has happened to this boy, that he's so hyper this night when everybody is supposed to be sleeping, in their course of the investigation, they heard a big fall, a sound, boom. So according to him, they abandoned the investigation to find out what it was. They realized that one of the windows in their room on the 4th floor where teachers are occupying, the boy has been able to disengage that window and fall, and had jumped through the window. So they stopped all what the investigation they said they were doing and quickly rushed the boy to the hospital. They called other people. They called as a head teacher, they called him, and they called other management members to come and help them.
Proprietor of St. Peter's Mission School in Accra, Dr. Moses Edujimfi.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Kickstart your day the safe and right way with a freshly brewed cup of piping hot coffee from Shell Bakery or Vida E Cafe. Reconnect and catch up with friends and unwind over cheesy burger goodness during your lunch break at Burger King. Relax this evening with drinks and meals at Honeysuckle and Starbites.
Relax and enjoy the perfect weekend plan filled with fun, food, and family at KFC, Burger King, or Starbites.
Refuel your energy at Shell and let your adventure drive you on this road trip.
Take a break at any of our Shell stations and enjoy any of these great offers from our partner restaurants. Shell, go well.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
It's time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Netele Nete Ajahu. Let's settle for the details now. Economist Courage Boti has stated that the International Monetary Fund's call to revise the Bank of Ghana's Act is a step in the right direction, as it will bring some stability in the country's fiscal management. As part of the prior actions required by the IMF before Ghana got the IMF economic bailout, the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance signed a memorandum of understanding to eliminate monetary financing during the program. This led to the call by the IMF to, among other things, revise the Bank of Ghana Act in a bid to strengthen the central bank's independence. Courage Boti has been speaking to City Business News.
Or otherwise, really. So I don't think it's a wrong call. I think it is all part of the processes. And I refer to 2016 amendment because our sickness is practically the same. We keep doing the same stuff and then we get into trouble, we go for correction and then we come back again. And so there is a need to now use legislation and regulation really to try to control some of the things we do until some sense of stability, or if you like, predictability is installed in our fiscal and monetary management really. And I guess that is the intent or maybe the context of that kind of revision. And it's not exclusive to the Bank of Ghana Act. The Fiscal Responsibility Act is also candidate for revision. And the IMF is proposing a number of stuff to be done to, including reconstituting the Fiscal Council and then changing that fiscal anchor from the twin fiscal deficit and primary surplus to now just one. And that work is also ongoing to revise that really. So I think it's a holistic look at our statutes and provisions and what can be done to ensure that they are binding. That is being pursued under this program.
Economist Courage Boti speaking there. The business community is expecting government to ease the burden on them through the removal of new taxes on businesses following the arrival of the first tranche of the IMF deal. They express fear the government's quest to achieve economic stability will come to naught should the bailouts fail to cushion businesses against the shocks in the market. Dr. Joseph Obeng is president of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA.
Businesses are suffering because of over-taxation, and that over-taxation impedes growth of businesses. Probably government is adopting these taxes because of the problem that we are having as a nation. But we believe that government understand our cry and our pleas. The fact that taxation is killing us, the nuisance taxes are coming back, are creeping back in folds and in other forms, and new taxes are being added up. And not only trading, the manufacturing sector, the agri sector, all of us, there's no tax that have been introduced that have seen this resistance from all trade business associations like this before, because it affects all segments of businesses. And that's why for government to have gone on means that they have no option left. But we thought that we could have talked through, that we could have gotten an alternative ways, more workable ways, even more than this, because what do you achieve if after getting the IMF businesses are collapsed, as is very imminent?
That was the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, Dr. Joseph Obeng. Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Industries has also been reacting to the announcement of the arrival of the first tranche of the IMF deal. Chona Makpelo is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the AGI.
The announcement of the IMF 3 billion facility to Ghana is welcome news, even though we're not surprised because the effort to secure it has been started for some time now, so we're fully aware of it. The good thing for the IMF program, essentially, at least for private sector, is that it would help stabilize the Ghanaian economy, which is what we've been asking for. But because of the exchange rate situation, we're unable to plan. Because anytime we plan, your plans are thrown out of gear because of how the currency fluctuates. Our hope is that this IMF program will allow for stability, where if you are buying the dollar for 10 cedi, for example, it will be 10 cedi for a long time, say 6 months or 1 year. So it allows for planning. So overall, we believe that the IMF program is at least for the short term, is useful, and also it helps install fiscal discipline, which which have been lacking in our public space for some time.
Chona Makpelo is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the AGI. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has disclosed that government will inject $1.5 billion into the National Stability Fund to help offset the losses incurred during the domestic debt exchange program. The banking sector will lose a total of about 41.3 billion cedis from the DDEP between 2023 and 2028, which has resulted in many banks struggling to stay afloat. Speaking to the press at an IMF engagement, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta highlighted some of the measures being taken by the government to cushion the financial sector from the aftershocks of the domestic debt exchange program.
With regards to the banks, yes, we went through the DDEP program, and we have all seen the effect on the banking sector, and therefore the structure of the Ghana Financial Stability Fund, which we intend to fund with up to $1.5 billion, $250 million from the World Bank, and government to contribute $500 million as we still speak to our development partners for them to participate in that. But the exercise, as you know, was really crucial to be able to reduce the level of interest that we are paying to support our debt. So yes, the World Bank should hopefully in the third quarter be able to bring that initial support going forward. As you know, we are running a budget deficit. We are also agreeing for zero financing for that. And so to continue to support the programs that we have is where the $600 million will be deployed. I think going forward, the issue of efficiency of government and efficiency of services to the people are going to be key, and therefore finding ways of ensuring that we're efficient in our deployment that we have.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta speaking there. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union says passengers must exercise restraints as it considers a reduction in transport fares. The reduction in fares, which was set to take off on Wednesday, May 17, had brought about a sigh of relief among users of the public. The Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, in a City Business interview, appealed to the general public to continue paying the existing fares until their leadership convenes to determine the way forward.
That there was a problem with the communique which came out with the reduction of 10%. So we said there should be ceasefire. We are pleading with the general public. Passengers should continue with the old fare. The drivers should also continue with the old fare. Till Monday, that our leadership will speak. Then we look at the solution to the existing problems. There was a missing link somewhere which led to the 10% communique which came out earlier.
You heard the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Abbas Imoro. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nettie Ajahu. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies DA improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Insightful, intriguing, intelligent, and informative. The City Breakfast Show offers an attractive alternative to the noisy mishmash of morning radio. Tune in to the City Breakfast Show for passionate discussions on issues that matter and enjoy interviews where duty bearers and decision makers have their feet held to the fire. The City Breakfast Show airs from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Monday to Friday on 97.3 CPFM. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
It's Eyewitness News. My name is Nilati Lati. Time now for Point Blank. And tonight on Point Blank, we've got two issues. One actually has to do with the upward adjustment of electricity and water tariffs. And also the reduction in transport fares. But first, let me come to you to talk about that increment in electricity and water tariffs. Let me speak to Kofi Capito. He is with the Consumer Protection Agency. Mr. Capito, good evening to you and thank you for joining us on a Point Blank on Eyewitness News. First, is the PRC justified in its latest increment, which is actually taking effect come June 2023?
I would say yes and no. Yes, because it is their mandate that they need to review every quarter. And so the second quarter is up, and it is their mandate for them to review it. It doesn't always have to be upward. It can also be downward, as the transport fares has gone down. Unfortunately, the PRC only appears to be like they are interested in the utility companies. Why do I say that? Their other mandate is to make sure that when increases are given, consumers will enjoy water supply and electricity uninterrupted 24/7, 365 days in a year. But is that what happens in Ghana? I would say no. So I don't think PRC is fair to consumers of electricity and water.
So your point is that, the increment should also commensurate with, a reliability of the utilities they are providing.
Definitely, because if they have to increase, well, it is a balance game. I'm paying more for a better services because you're claiming that if I pay more, your services will be better. But when we pay, we don't see that the services are improved. As it pertains now in Ghana, there's some power outages going on. Whether it's called Doomso, whether it's called Doom, it's entirely up to them. Ghana Water is actually rationing water in some parts of Accra. So why are they coming to us to tell us about an increase? If they want the increase, fine. Like I said, it is the mandate of the PRC to look at it. But it is not also fair for consumers when they review it upwards, we don't get the same service delivery that is supposed to come to us.
But away from their mandate that you talk about, they've actually been providing explanations as to why we are seeing these, upward adjustments. For example, they talk about the cost of operation, the cost of chemicals that they used in whatever they do in relation to water, and also the exchange rate issue as well as inflation. All of these do not justify why they should be increasing prices.
No, you see, regardless of all the things that you said, at the end of the day, that's why they've asked us to pay more. Or we've been paying more. I mean, I think this year alone, electricity, this is the second time electricity is going up. The question is to also see to it that service providers or the service that are provided to consumers is also very, very adequate. It is not fair for you to come and justify why you need to increase, but you cannot justify why I don't get the services that I get. So I don't think it is fair. That is my point. Like I said, it is their mandate. They are obligated to review, but the question is, it's not just about going up, but it's about also looking at the services that is provided. It is very, very much adequate.
But where do we find the middle ground? I'm asking because we are made to understand that these increments are actually because of where we find ourselves as a country now, especially because of the IMF deal that we've secured, and predictions are that we are going to see more of these happening.
You see, when I don't know whether it's the explanation given by PRC or government, whoever gives that explanation doesn't make any sense. Because guess what? Salaries haven't also gone up. If you're telling us about the IMF conditionalities, the IMF's conditionality does not mean that you should squeeze the people out of every penny that they have. All I'm saying is, regardless of whatever conditions that they took themselves in, what I want is, as long as I'm being asked to pay more, I expect better services. I think it is fair. That is the job of a consumer. The consumer always expects what is called value for money. I cannot be paying something that I'm not getting the same value back.
I see, but these, utility service providers must also keep their operations afloat.
You see, that is the reason why they are telling us that they are going to increase, and which is fair. But you think it's not fair for you to ask for better services? They can give all the justification, whether they are collapsing, whether whatever, but as long as they ask us to pay, consumers should also expect to get better quality of service delivery to us. It's as simple as that. It is a bad game.
But is the issue also from your end, as how you look at it, about the percentage? At least for electricity, we know that it's 18%. For water, depending on the category of consumer group you belong to, the percentage actually reflects in that regard. Do you think that the PURC should have been measured in the percentage increment? Is that a fair point to make?
Listen, let me tell you what. At this point, the percentage, whatever, is not the issue here. The issue is we are going to be paying. What I'm saying is what consumers should also demand from PURC is uninterrupted supply of electricity and water.
But how can consumers demand that? Are you using your agencies to push for that?
No, I will use your medium for you and I to start a campaign to tell Ghanaians to voice their frustration to their parliamentarians and even show some dissatisfaction to the utility providers for not doing what they are supposed to be doing. It's not just the CPA. It is about the people of Ghana. The monies that are being asked to be paid is not just being paid by CPA. It's the people of Ghana. And as a consumer advocate, my issue is to see to the welfare that the consumer gets value for money. It's as simple as that. So I don't care. I don't care how they cut it. I don't care how they dice it. As long as we are paying, we should also demand quality of service from them.
But from your end, as an advocate or mouthpiece for consumers, if we broaden the conversation and look at the general increment in prices of goods and services, now that we are witnessing what appears to be relative stability in the market in terms of appreciation of the CD, drop in fuel prices and all that. Should consumers be bracing themselves for a reduction in the production of goods and services?
No, we should not expect a reduction.
Why?
Rather, no, because we are asked to pay more. Okay, the moment you're asked to pay more, why are you expecting reduction in the services? Okay, transport has been decided that they'll reduce it. Why? Because they see the need to reduce it. Okay, fuel prices, for some strange reason, has become stabilized. So why should I expect less? As a consumer, expect, even you as a Ghanaian, why should you expect less when you are being asked to pay more? Do you think it's fair? That is not how business operates. Business operates based on the balance that what they give you is equivalent to what you are paying for.
I see. So the argument is that in as much as we see, the stability in terms of the CD and also fuel prices, some of these increments we are witnessing in utility tariffs is actually what is making, traders maintain prices as we speak.
No, traders are not Father Christmas. Okay, traders would increase prices, but I don't expect a trader to shortchange me in the quality of product that he's going to give me. Do you understand my
exactly? So the point is, if you are paying more and you are getting quality of goods and services, so be it.
Yeah, why not? Because quality comes with price. Quality comes with price. As long as I am getting it, the quality that I'm supposed to be getting it, and if you can justify, look, we operate in a free market. Let Ghanaians understand, we don't have price control in Ghana anymore. This is a free market, but the only thing the consumer is expected is value for money.
And so if you say that there is no price control, it's a free market and all that, what really can stakeholders be doing in terms of, ensuring that consumers are cushioned in the face of, the economic difficulties we are seeing?
In terms of utility, that is why we are advocating for some other company to come and do distribution in the electricity, because there's a monopoly. ECG has a monopoly. That's why they are doing this. Ghana Water has a monopoly. In other jurisdictions that they believe in fair trade, okay, the utilities don't have monopoly. So time has come. Maybe we should look at how we are going to make the utilities more able to allow other people to come, because competition in terms of value for money, in terms of good business, in terms of everything, competition brings better business.
Finally, is it your expectation that the PRC will actually rescind its decision?
Come again, please.
I'm asking if you're expecting the PRC to, reverse these increments that they've announced.
As said earlier, it is their mandate whether to go up or down. All I'm saying is, as a consumer, once they've gone up, I expect them also to make sure that the utilities don't shortchange consumers. I don't think it's that difficult. If I'm paying more, you think I don't deserve better?
But they've given those assurances in their statement at least.
That is no assurances does not guarantee. So we are going to monitor them. Every Ghanaian should monitor. Power outages is something that we can use in an argument to say that it is not fair for us to be paying more when the services do not meet the standard that we are supposed to get.
All right, thank you. That's Kofi Capito with the Consumer Protection Agency. There is still Eyewitness News time now for Point Blank, and let's move to our other issue, which has to do with that expected reduction in the cost of transportation. The GPRT has actually suspended that reduction. Let's find out more from them. Abbas Imoru, Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRT. Mr. Imoru, good evening. Thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News. Welcome. We're expecting that 10% reduction, but as you've made us aware of, that reduction has been suspended. Exactly why?
Yes, we thank you and good evening to the listeners. There was a missing link in our system of which we use to either increase or decrease lorry fares. Of recent times, we came up with a decrease which was more than this very 10%. And everybody embraced it. It works perfectly. Why this 10%? There's a missing link somewhere. Something went wrong.
What was that thing that went wrong?
Yes, we will come out with it on Monday. Our leadership will meet and sort things out and come out finally. So I don't think it will be conducive for me to say it now.
I see.
All we are saying is yesterday we came out to render an apology to the general public, especially to the passengers who are our clients, who we are working with, to take it easy till Monday so that we all visit the Old Testament and work with it. The old money we were taking should continue till Monday. So this is what we came up with. We are pleading with the general public to take it easy till Monday.
But at what point did you realize this missing link you are talking about?
Oh, the communique came out on the 15th, later part of the day. So on the 16th, everybody got to hear of that communique, which was working on the 17th. And even this is one of the problems. You ask a question, I'm answering. And even if we are to increase lorry fares, we don't use 2 days to increase lorry fares. Even if we are even to increase, and here in the case, we have to come out with a decrease. So you can imagine the education that we have to put across. We never went on, and even not the timing alone. There is a missing link also somewhere. The system we use wasn't applied properly. Hence, yesterday, we have to throw in the towel.
These revelations you are making are actually shocking, especially if you see that the system in which you used to, determine price adjustments, there was an issue with it. It's quite problematic. You do not think so?
It is not, because the previous decrease, which was more than the 10%, was very smooth. Why this 10%? It wasn't at all. It isn't any problematic at all.
I see. So is it your point that the 10% that you announced is extremely insignificant, for which reason in your next announcement you'll be pushing for further, a less rate, if I want to put it that way?
I never said so.
I'm just asking for you to clarify.
No, it is wrong. It is not that at all. There was a missing link somewhere. Something really went wrong, and hence we are promised the public meeting day. I don't think I have to talk about that. I will have to plead with the general public to exercise patience till Monday.
I see. So you'll be meeting on Monday, you see. So for how long
God willing, by the close of the day, the public will hear from us.
And so from I was about asking of timelines on for how long we should be paying the fares that currently exist. So today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you come out with your announcement. Is that the point?
Yeah.
I see. But there are also concerns that usually it's because of other factors, not only the drop in fuel prices that you use in determining your rates. And so in your next announcement, are you going to factor in all these inputs?
Well, I don't want to preempt since our leadership will meet.
Okay.
So I'll plead with you and the general public to take it easy till Monday.
I see. So what time is this meeting you are talking about on Monday?
By the close of the day, you hear from us. It could be marathon, it could be short. So by the close of Monday, you hear from us.
And which various unions are going to, be in that meeting?
Normally we have representatives from all the unions.
I see. So on Monday, you'll be coming out with a new statement.
Yes, of course.
I see. Thank you very much. I will be waiting for you on Monday. That's
You're always
Abbas Imoro,
welcome.
Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU, talking to us about the suspension of the reduction in transport fares. He says they are meeting on Monday to correct the errors and then come up with a new fare adjustment. But that's our show for tonight. This has been Eyewitness News on City 97.3 City FM. It came to you live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka here in Accra. There is more news if you visit our website citynewsroom.com. The show was produced by Kobina Wilson, Beverly London, and Samuel Afe. Daniel Squashi from our technical team came in with technical support, and Edwin Kwal Kofi on social media duties. My name is Ni Latte. Many thanks indeed for your company. It's Friday. Sports Panorama is next for the City Sports team. Do stay tuned in. Have a good night.